Assalamu alaikum. This is Dr. Usman Alauddin, and I am back with another lecture of week 2 of course Internal Combustion Engines ME215. Uh, as you remember, in the last lecture, we discussed few parameters with which we can determine the performance of an internal combustion engine, like indicated thermal efficiency, brake thermal efficiency, specific fuel consumption, mechanical efficiency, relative efficiency, mean piston speed, equivalence ratio. So these were few parameters we discussed in detail. We discussed the theory of these parameters and we also discussed the formulas for these parameters. Now we will apply these formulas to calculate the performance of some real engines with the help of numericals. Like we have problem based learning, we will have different problems of different engines. Some data will be given, and with the help of given data we need to determine few output parameters of the engine. Now let's first solve 1-1. 1-1 is the unsolved numerical given at the end of chapter number 1 of book B. Ganison. A diesel engine a diesel engine has a brake thermal efficiency of 30%. If the calorific value of the fuel is 42,000 kilojoule per kilogram, find its brake specific fuel consumption. So it's a very simple numerical. Now, if you remember, I advised you to memorize the formulas. So this is a simple thing. So if I were you, I would like uh, I would highlight the key parameters, and the key parameters are uh, brake thermal efficiency. So I should know the formula for the brake thermal efficiency, and I need to find the brake specific fuel consumption. If I know the formula for the brake thermal efficiency and specific fuel consumption, then I can solve this numerical. So what was the formula for the brake thermal efficiency? The formula for the brake thermal efficiency was brake power divided by mass flow rate of fuel into calorific value. So this was the formula for the brake thermal efficiency. And what was the formula for the brake specific fuel consumption? So brake specific fuel consumption is mass flow rate of fuel divided by brake power. So these were the formulas. Now I can combine these two formulas. So I can get, so if I can write this formula as m dot f divided by brake power. So it will become brake specific fuel consumption, which is required. This thing is unknown. See, calorific value is given, and mechanic and brake thermal efficiency is given 30% and 42,000. So now this numerical is become very easy. So given is brake thermal efficiency is 30% given, calorific value is 42,000 kilojoule per kilogram. This is the formula for the brake thermal efficiency. I do the simplification. M dot upon M dot F upon BP is the brake specific fuel consumption, zero point 0.3 and 42,000. I put the values and I get the answer. Brake specific fuel consumption is equal to 7 to the 10 to the power minus 5 kilogram per kilojoule. Now if I multiply it with 3600, then I get the answer in kilogram per kilowatt hour. Now how did so now we should learn the this conversion. So how can we convert kilogram per kilojoule into kilogram kilowatt hour? So it's a very simple process. You can multiply kilojoule with second and divide by second. You can do this in mathematics. It's very simple. Now what is kilojoule per second? Kilojoule per second is kilowatt, so it will become kilowatt into second. Now you need kilowatt, you need kilowatt hour, you do not need kilowatt second. So to convert second into hour, you need to divide by 3600, and it is already in divide, so 3600 will come at the top and it will be multiplied with the main quantity, which is shown here. So that is why you have multiplied with the 3600. Okay, now let's solve the next numerical 1.7. 1.7 is also an unsolved numerical given at the end of chapter number 1. compute the compute the brake pressure of a 4-cylinder 2-stroke. 4-cylinder means K is 4. 2-stroke means N will be equal to capital N. 100 millimeter bore. So D is 100 millimeter, 0.1 meter, and 100 millimeter bore and 125 millimeter stroke. The stroke is 125 millimeter, so it will be 0.125 meter. When it develops a torque of 490 Newton meter. So this is the numerical. Now you should know the what are the keywords. So you should know the brake mean effective pressure formula, and you should also know the it develops a torque. So you should know that when the torque is given, you can calculate the brake power with this formula: 2 pi n t. I think this formula you must have also used in the metric or in the first year or in second year. So brake power is equal to 2 pi, and when torque is given and RPM is given, you can use this formula. And if you are using n in RPM, so you need to divide by 60, and if you need the brake power in 1000 in kilowatt, then you need to divide it by 1000. If you don't divide by 1000, you will get brake power in watt. So in order to bring it into kilowatt, you need to divide by 1000. And brake mean effective pressure formula was uh, brake power divided by L A N L A N K. And you need to, if you put N in RPM, you need to multiply by 60, and if you need brake power, if you put brake power in 1000 in kilowatt, it will be 60,000. So these are the formulas which you need, then you can solve this numerical very easily. So brake power formula is 2 pi nt divided by 60,000. Mean effective pressure formula is this thing. So in this formula you can put the formula for the brake power. So 2 pi nt, n will be cancelled out, 60,000 will be cancelled out. Brake mean effective pressure is given, bore is given, stroke is given, n is given. You just put the values and you will get the brake mean effective pressure in Newton meter per square. And this is 10 to the power 5, and 10 to the power 5 is actually bar. And here we have used n is equal to capital N. This is a very important thing. We use n when we have two-stroke engine, because in two-stroke engine number of power strokes are equal to the uh, rotational speed of the engine, that is the RPM of the crankshaft. Okay, now let's move forward. Now this is the solved example 1-1-10. The indicated thermal efficiency of four-stroke engine is 32%. Indicated thermal efficiency is given, mechanical efficiency is 78% given, the fuel consumption rate is 20 kilogram per hour. So m dot f, mass flow rate of the fuel, is 20 kilogram per hour. You need to divide it by 3600 to bring it into kilogram per second at a fixed speed. The brake mean effective pressure is 6 bar and mean piston speed is 12 meter per second. Assuming it to be a single cylinder, that is K is equal to 1, square engine. It means square engine means L is equal to D. Calculate the crank radius. So crank radius is actually half of the stroke length, L by 2, engine speed, and the engine speed. You need to find the engine speed and the crank radius. So you need to find L, capital L, stroke length, and you need to find capital N. Take CV is equal to 42,000 kilojoule per kilogram. So it is always a good idea to make data, the given so that you can make a story of the numerical, the build up of the numerical, that what should be the steps that you move forward. So it is always a good idea to put the given data at one place and then try to analyze the data, that how can you uh, find the required parameters. For this you need to know you need to memorize the formulas as well. So we can see that indicated thermal efficiency is given and mechanical thermal efficiency is given, and we know that uh, that mechanical efficiency is equal to break thermal efficiency divided by indicated thermal efficiency. So with this formula we can easily find the break thermal efficiency. So break thermal efficiency is coming out to be 24.96%. This is very easy. Now we need to, now with the help of break thermal efficiency we can find the break power. So before calculating the break power, because the formula for the break thermal efficiency is uh, brake power divided by EF. So let's find the energy of the fuel. Energy of the fuel can be found by multiplying the mass flow rate with the calorific value. Calorific value is given, mass flow rate of the fuel is also given. So mass flow rate of the fuel is 20 kilogram per hour. So you need to divide it by 3600, multiply by 42,000 kilojoule per kilogram. So this is the energy of the fuel. So now you know the brake thermal efficiency, you know the energy of the fuel. So brake power will come out to be 58.24 kilowatt. So since it is a square engine, we can take D is equal to L. Now we have find the brake power, so we can use, because brake mean effective pressure is given, so we can use this formula. So brake mean effective pressure is given, brake power we just determined, L is unknown, A is uh, stroke. A will be pi by 4 d square. So we can bring d into L. We can represent d in terms of L because d is equal to L. N is capital N because it is a 4-stroke engine or 2-stroke engine. It's a 4-stroke engine, so N will be equal to N by 2. K is also given. So we can actually find an equation because L is unknown and N is also unknown. So we can find an equation having two unknowns. Now we need to have another equation in terms of L and N. This thing we can find with the help of mean piston speed. So brake mean effective pressure and mean piston speed was given. So mean piston speed formula is 2ln, and if you want to put n in rpm, like here we have done it, we have also put n in rpm. So we need to divide by 60. So you can directly put n in rpm. So you can sp is 12. So ln will come out to be 360. So now you have two equation, two unknown. You can solve equation number 1 and equation 2 simultaneously, and you will get L and you will get N. And if you divide L by 2, this will be crank radius. So crank radius was required and RPM was required. So this was a pretty simple numerical if you know the formulas. Okay. So if you should make the data. So we started with the data. It's clearly shown that indicated thermal efficiency is given, so we can straight away find the brake thermal efficiency. When the brake thermal efficiency is known, we can find the brake power. And since brake mean effective pressure is known, that is why we have found the brake power. So maybe you are wondering that why we have calculated the brake power, because brake mean effective pressure is given. Let's suppose if indicated pressure uh, would have been given, then we would be determining indicated power. Okay, this is the sequence. And some students ask that, sir, how will we know that where to use where we should use which formula? So I always reply with this example that, let's suppose you people you most of the people follow cricket. So tell me a thing, that how the batsmen know that on which ball which shot should be played, that on which ball the hook should be played, which ball should be drived, which ball should be hit for a 6 or a 4, which ball should be left alone. So how does a batsman know? It's the answer is simple: experience or practice. So you should do the practice. When you do the practice, your mind will tell you that what you have to do within nano and within split of a second, within a jiffy. like the batsman know what to do on which ball. So similarly, you should know the formulas. You should do the practice of these numericals which I am teaching you. Then you can solve the unseen numericals on your own. Now let's move forward. Solve example 1-6. A single cylinder, it means K is equal to 1. 4 stroke means small n is equal to capital N by 2. Hydrogen fueled SI engine delivers a brake power of 20 kilonewton. BP is 20 kilowatt at 6000 rpm. Capital N is 6000. The air gas ratio, that is air fuel ratio, is 8 ratio 1. Calorific value of the fuel is 11,000 kilojoule per meter cube. The compression ratio is 8. Volumetric efficiency is 70%. Indicated thermal efficiency is 33%. And the mechanical efficiency is 80%. Calculate the cubic capacity of the engine. Now, what was the formula for the cubic capacity of an engine? For cubic capacity of an engine, you need to know the swept volume, because if you multiply the swept volume with the number of cylinders, then you can get the cubic capacity. So you should know the swept volume of this. You need to find the swept volume, and we can find the swept volume with the help of volumetric efficiency, because in volumetric efficiency we have the actual volume of air to the maximum or theoretical volume of air, and theoretical or maximum volume of air is actually swept volume. If you remember the formulas, I can show you here. Volumetric efficiency formula has the swept volume, so we can use this thing. Okay, so brake power is given, mechanical efficiency is given, so we can easily find the indicated power. So you should know this formula. Mechanical efficiency is brake power divided by indicated power. So brake power is known, mechanical efficiency is known, so indicated power is coming out to be 25 kilowatt, and the answer is logical, because brake power should be always less than indicated power, because brake power has all the losses, and indicated power does not have the frictional losses. Now, when you know the indicated power and indicated thermal efficiency, you can determine the energy input, which is obtained by burning the fuel. It is coming out to be 75.76 kilowatt, or 75.76 kilojoule per second. This is the energy released per second by burning fuel. Now, number of power strokes per second will be, it can be found with the help of RPM. So n divided by 2, because it is the 4-stroke engine, because in the 4-stroke engine every second revolution has the power stroke, and divided by 60 to bring RPM into RPS, so it's coming out to be 50 power stroke per second. 50 power stroke per second. So now if you need the energy input per power stroke, so you can divide the 75.76 kilojoule per second with 50 power stroke per seconds. So second will be cancelled out. So it's coming out to be 1.52 kilojoule per power stroke. So now this energy input per power stroke can also be found with the help of actual volume of hydrogen multiplied by calorific value. So actual volume of H2, take here. So actual volume of H2 will have a unit of meter cube, and calorific value has a unit of kilojoule per meter cube. So meter cube will be cancelled out. You will be left with kilojoule, whose value is given 1.52. This 1.52 is known, calorific value is known. Then you can find the actual volume of fuel, VF. You can find, when you know the VF, you can find the actual amount of air which is going into the cylinder with the help of air fuel ratio. So air fuel ratio is volume of air divided by volume of fuel. The air fuel ratio is given 8. Volume of fuel has come out to be 138.18 centimeter cube. So volume of air is coming out to be 1105.44 centimeter cube. This is the actual volume of air which is going into the cylinder. Now with the help of actual volume of air, we can find the swept volume by by using the volumetric efficiency formula. So swept volume is 1579.2. This is the maximum amount of air which can 1579, and the actual air which is going is 1100. So you know the swept volume, you multiply the swept volume with the number of cylinder, which is 1, so you get the cubic capacity. It is approximately like 1600 cc engine. So the engine is 1600 cc. So it's a easy numerical. Okay, now so let's solve example 1-4. Find out the speed at which a 4-cylinder engine K is 4 using natural gas can develop a brake power of 50 kilowatt. VP is 50 kilowatt, working under following condition. Air gas ratio, that is air fuel ratio, is given 9. Calorific value CV is given 34 megajoule per meter cube. Compression ratio is 10. Volumetric efficiency is 70%. Indicated thermal efficiency is 35%. Mechanical efficiency is 80%, and total volume is 2 liter, that is 2 dm3, and 2 dm3 will be 2000 centimeter cube. The total volume is 200 centimeter cube. So what will be total volume per cylinder? So we have 4 cylinder and total volume is 2000, so volume per cylinder will be 500 centimeter cube. Now we know the compression ratio formula. That compression ratio formula is total volume divided by compression ratio. We know the total volume per cylinder. If we divide by 10, then we get the clearance volume. So clearance volume is 50. So we can find the swept volume per cylinder with this formula. R is equal to 1 plus Vs upon Vc. R is known, Vs is unknown, Vc is known. So swept volume is 450. So it makes sense. Out of 500, 50 is clearance volume and swept volume is 450. So 450 plus 50, 500. 500 is the total volume per cylinder. Now we can find the actual volume of air taken per cylinder with the help of the volumetric efficiency, because volumetric efficiency formula is actual volume of air divided by sweat volume. Sweat volume will it is in the divide, so it will be multiplied with the volumetric efficiency, then you will get the actual volume of air. So this is the maximum air which can be drawn into the cylinder, 450 centimeter cube, and actually since the volumetric efficiency is 70%, so actually the air which is going into the cylinder is 315 centimeter cube. So when the actual quantity of air is known, we can find the volume of fuel with the help of air fuel ratio. This is the other way around, like which we did in the last numerical. In the last numerical, Vf was given, we determined Va. Now we know the Va, we can find the Vf, 35 centimeter cube. So energy supplied per cylinder will be Vf into calorific value. So Vf is, we just calculated, and calorific value is known. So energy is coming out to be 1.19 kilojoule. So its unit, please note it, its unit is 1.19 kilojoule. So we can find the indicated power with the help of brake power and mechanical efficiency, and if we divide it by 4, it will be indicated, because we are doing everything in per cylinder term. So we need the indicated power also in the per cylinder. So energy supplied per cylinder, the flow rate of energy supplied, we can find with the help of uh, indicated thermal efficiency formula, that is IP upon energy input. IP is known, indicated thermal efficiency is known. We can find the energy input, and please note its unit is kilowatt. Its unit is kilowatt, kilojoule per second, and its unit is kilojoule. Using these two quantities, we can find the n, small n, because you know that in order to convert kilojoule into kilojoule per second, we need to multiply 1 upon second, and 1 upon second you can get by multiplying with the n, small n, and small n is actually capital N by 2 for 4-stroke engine, and n is equal to capital N for 2-stroke engine. Since it is a 4-stroke engine, we can use n by 2, and if we use rpm n in rpm, then we should divide by 60. Then this come out to be n come out to be 45,000 rpm. This thing was required. So we calculated the energy supplied by burning fuel in two different units, one in kilojoule and one is kilowatt, and then we compared these two quantities. These, in order to make these two quantities should be equal, we need to multiply kilojoule with 1 upon second, and this thing we can do it with the help of RPM. This thing we also did in like here. If you know the, you can see that if we have mass flow rate of air, mass of air kilogram, so swept volume into kilogram per meter cube. Kilogram per meter cube, meter cube, meter cube will be cancelled out kilogram. So now in order to convert the kilogram into kilogram per second, we need to multiply by n. And n is n by 2 for 4-stroke engine, and n is equal to capital N for 2-stroke engine. Now let's solve numerical number 1-5. A 4-stroke means small n will be equal to capital N by 2. That is the power strokes. Number of power stroke will be half of the RPM. 4-cylinder means K is equal to 4. Diesel engine running at 2000 RPM develops 60 kilowatt. Now this is not mentioned that it is brake power or indicated power. So the power developed by the engine is actually brake power. The end power is brake power. Brake thermal efficiency is 30% given. Calorific value of the fuel is given. Engine has a bore. D, small d is given. Stroke capital L is given. Density of air 1.15 kilogram per meter cube is given. Air fuel ratio 15. Mechanical efficiency is 80% given. Calculate the fuel consumption, mass flow rate of the fuel, air consumption, meter cube per second, indicated thermal efficiency, volumetric efficiency, brake main effective pressure, and mean piston speed. So it's a very good numerical that you have to find many parameters. So this should be use different formulas of different parameters. So let's start with the brake thermal efficiency formula. Brake thermal efficiency is given, brake power is given, calorific value is given. So with this formula we can easily find the mass flow rate of fuel. When the mass flow rate of fuel is known, with the help of air fuel ratio you can find the mass flow rate of air. And mass flow rate of air is in kilogram per second, and if I divide it by density, so it will be kilogram per second divided by kilogram per meter cube. Kilogram will be cancelled out, so it will be meter cube per second, or it's a formula of the volume flow rate and the mass flow rate. If you remember, we 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 learned that the relation between mass flow rate and volume flow rate is mass flow rate is equal to density times volume flow rate. Now this is the volume flow rate of air, and it is the total volume flow rate of air. If we divide by 4, then it will be volume of air per cylinder. Uh, we know the mechanical efficiency, we know the indicated brake thermal efficiency, we can find the indicated thermal efficiency, and this thing is known. This was required, so we have calculated the indicated thermal efficiency. Now actual volume of air is known. Displacement volume is also given, so we can find the volumetric efficiency, and here we have used n is equal to n by 2. The formula for the brake main effective pressure is this: brake power is known, L is known, pi by 4 d square, bore is known, n is known, k is known. So we can find the mean effective pressure, and mean piston speed formula is 2 ln, and we can find sp into sp like 6.67 meter per second. So that's it. So I there are, I think, 10 or 11 solved examples in the book, so I recommend you to first go through all these numericals which we have solved in the class, and then I advise you to solve all these solved examples. But the problem is that the solved example in the book Garrison, they are solved example, but they are solved in a very different way. They have combined 4 or 5 steps in one step, so they have done everything very direct. So it will take time to understand that how they have done different calculations. So this thing you can do if you know all the formulas, if you know the basic technique, then you can understand the solved examples. So you will need some time to understand actually the solved examples of the book. And these solved examples and the unsolved numericals, uh, like any question can be asked from the solved examples or from the unseen numericals at the end of the chapter number 1. We can ask any question to solve in the quizzes or in the midterm or in the final paper. So let's end today's lecture and see you next time. Allah Hafiz.